how to make a meltdown plan with your autistic child. The best first step in a meltdown plan is to look at reducing overload overall, so that your child isn't becoming overloaded and having meltdowns as frequently as they might have been. First of all, you need to look at meeting their sensory needs. Learn about their sensory needs and build strategies and support into their day-to-day life for those sensory needs. It's important to make sure that your child gets enough downtime, particularly around challenging, highly social activities like school and social activities with their friends or extracurricular activities that they take part in. It's important to build in downtime both before and after those activities so that they can regulate and not become overloaded. Next up, it's really useful to learn to recognise the early warning signs of being overloaded and potentially headed towards a meltdown, which I call the rumble phase. That can look different for every autistic person, but if you first can start to identify, how is my child tending to behave before they go into meltdown, then you can start to learn what that looks like, and you can start to learn to put in strategies to help avoid the meltdown from happening. And in time, ideally, your child would then start to be able to learn those rumble signs too, so that they could tell you that they were feeling a little bit overloaded and start to learn to care for their overload for themselves in time. In terms of plans for what to do if the meltdown is unavoidable, it's best to be flexible, because what might work one day won't always work the next day, and it's best to do some forward planning, ideally if possible with the child themselves, for what might be supportive. The plan needs to consider safety. How do you keep yourself and your child safe? What might help? Do they need you to stop talking altogether? Do they need you to offer some minimal comforting words? Do they want a big tight hug, or do they want to be not touched at all? This can be discussed in advance, but it also is likely that you will figure it out through trial and error. Notice what works and put that in the plan. And then finally, what would be supportive after the meltdown? Would they like to watch one of their favourite comfort shows? Would they like a weighted blanket? Would they like something to eat, something to drink? What does your child need in order to regulate after they've had a meltdown, in order to avoid what I call aftershock meltdowns, which is where when you've had a meltdown, your brain is overloaded and you're tired, and that means that you're at higher risk of having more meltdowns. So it's important to know what that aftercare looks like to help to regulate and avoid that from happening.